This is a demonstration to show how to replace the rear brake cable. Tools required: a pair of pliers, long nose would be best, 13mm AF spanner, 8mm AF spanner, 6mm hexagonal wrench, two 3mm wrenches and one 2.5mm wrench. To make the changing of the brake cable easier, we will be folding the bike. But first of all, the brake cable runs from the handlebar through the rear tube, and in here there are two cables, a joint in this area and through to the brake. So first of all, we'll fold the bike. And we're going to remove the left-hand side crank, and we're going to remove the left-hand, the brake which is on the left hand, by removing the two brake anchor screws. So with the 2.5mm hexagonal wrench, remove the two fastener sets. Very important, there is a button head screw, a spring washer and a plain washer for each one. With a 6mm spanner, hexagonal wrench, release and lever the complete pedal crank assembly. Then we need to release the crosspiece where it goes into the rear crankcase. For this we require two 3mm wrenches. So placing one on each side, awesome on that. The shaft that goes through has got a hexagonal section in the middle, so the other wrench can now be passed up. Inside, we take out this is the and there's a pin in the middle here, so placing that hexagonal wrench okay, so that's the washer and the button head again removed. Then the crosspiece is now loose. We want to remove the left-hand bolt with the 13mm AF spanner. Remember, this is a left-hand thread, so we have to turn clockwise to open it. And then turning the bike over to the right-hand side, we now have to remove all of the crankcase fasteners with the 3mm spanner. This includes the central one, which is down a deep hole. If the fasteners are removed completely, there is a spring washer which has to fit under the head of the bolt, and on the other side is a nut that has no spring washer. Then turning the bicycle back, to access the left-hand side of the crankcase, it's now possible to lever the crankcase and remove it. Carefully lay the crankcase to one side because it's connected by the brake cable that we're changing. Then with the 8mm AF spanner, release the cable clamp nut. With a pair of pliers, remove the cable end cap. And the cable can now be withdrawn from the brake band, brake spring, and then pulled straight out from the brake tube. Next of all, we have to open up this section at the top to enable us to pull the cable out further. So with the two 3mm hexagonal wrenches, one on either side again, fastener on either side, and continue removing the fastener and the washer, and pull out the pin. The pin may come out the other way because it fits on both sides. Now the rear socket pivot will come out, cable comes out, and we need to remove the top moulding from the top tube. So these two need to be removed. So gripping the tube and rotating, wiggling slightly, it can be pulled. Easier to hold at the bottom here. Just pull the tube until it comes out. And then withdraw the lower cable, and we have exposed the brake slider and the clamp. So using the same pair of pliers, remove the second end cap, and to remove the cable clamp we will require in addition a crosshead screwdriver. Then withdraw the brake cable. I'm going to loosen that some more. And then remove the brake slider. Keep to use later. The lower cable can then be discarded. The upper cable, pull it through the top moulding, and then pushing it into the upper tube releases it from the brake lever, where it can then be pulled all the way out. At this stage, if it's desirable to replace the upper cable, the outer cable, then simply unscrew the brake adjuster, and then cut the cable tie here and discard the upper cable.